Hello, and welcome to this Fallout 4 settlement tour. This is Extreme Wackazoid, and today we are looking at Murkwater construction site. This is on the PS4. I'm using a number of mods which are listed below. If you've yet to arrive at Murkwater construction, you should know there is a large Mirelurk queen here waiting for you, so be prepared for an attack. And just a few things about the build space. It is large, but there's some challenges. This is a marshland. There's a large amount of water, so you'll have to account for that. And if you're familiar with the space, there's a large burnt out sort of mansion right here, smack dab in the middle of Murkwater construction that I'm not able to scrap. And so I wanted to give you a few ideas of what you can do with the space, and so let's take a look. I was using Scrap That Settlement, so if you're familiar with the space, there's a frame of a garage right here and some construction equipment as well that I was able to scrap. And so what I put in the place is a restroom area, sort of an outhouse restroom with multiple different types of materials. I like to use a lot of different materials, so this is a shower, a sink, toilet. All my settlers are growing mute fruit. It's the most efficient type of food to grow. And my defense turrets are miniguns and heavy lasers, which are on these ball track supports with a wooden plank on top, and I do that to raise it up so that it's free from melee attackers. My settlers are all wearing the same outfit essentially. I like to do that so it looks creepy. This is a surveyor's outfit, I believe, and they have ballistic weave and then ballistic weave in their hats as well. So with this water area, you can fit a lot of water purifiers if you'd like. I only put one here. I feel like it's a little more realistic to do that. And I have, I believe, 8 settlers here. I like to use a small amount. I think it's the most realistic, so it's just the efficient number of farmers, 4 vendors, and then a purveyor as well. And so what I was able to do with this mansion style is to essentially just build around it. And so what I did was I used warehouse foundations to fit it right in against the edge of one of the walls of the mansion, and then I just put a bunch of warehouse foundations around to snap it into place. And when I did that, I realized that there was some extra space, and so what I did was I kind of expanded that base and then fit some empty spots in here to have apartment flats, and I'll show you what that looks like. So this is essentially 3 stories, and if you like to do that type of thing, what you need to do is just snap a stairwell along to one of these foundations, and then you can build a warehouse foundation underneath as like kind of a basement, and then you can build on top by placing a stairwell, and then just remove it after that. And so if you want to do that type of thing of just kind of building around that mansion, you just have to make sure that the walls will snap. I like to use warehouse foundations because it's a little more generous with the clipping, and so it's a little easier to sink objects into the floor with the select all trick and things like that. But the other thing you have to just keep in mind is to make sure that you're able to build a floor up here as a 3rd floor. So you want to make sure that the warehouse foundations go all the way through. And here it doesn't actually go all the way through, because what I was able to do, what I like to do with my energy source, is have it pretty well protected. So you can kind of see I have a couple fusion reactors in there, and there you can see it a little better as well. So that's inside the mansion itself, and you can kind of see the wooden wall of that mansion. And so I put some power sources there, and that protects it from attackers pretty well, because attackers will definitely go after your energy source. And so here I'll show you the different apartment flats. So again, this is just going out I just extended along this foundation, and so each settler has their own little space, and so it's just a bed here with a locker and a file cabinet. I like to put a suitcase underneath so they have kind of a go bag. If I lived in a wasteland, I would definitely want some kind of go bag so I could leave quickly if I needed to. So I won't show you all of them, but this just gives you an idea of what these flats look like. And so these are warehouse doors, and what I like to do is put lights up the stairs. It's been raining for weeks here at Merkwater Construction. I keep thinking that the sun is cleared, but it is not. So hopefully this thunder isn't too distracting. So this is the top floor, and this is where I have a number of my vendors as well as residences. I like to have a restaurant area because settlers will come and congregate here after a hard day's work and line up and then sit down and eat. So these are concrete barriers, warehouse sort of poles. I like to use these ceiling fan lighting to keep it cool. And I like it to have somewhat of a functioning restaurant look, and so there's a refrigerator there, a grill, a sink, an oven, and I used OC Decorator to place these items. And then in here I put these little half walls to give it interior walls, which if you're used to building, you know that's pretty difficult. And so I just placed them here and then snapped a ceiling in. And so that's one of the residences for that restaurant vendor. And so here with these tier 3 vendors, I like to put items into the shelving so it looks like they're actually selling something. And with my clinic vendor, I like to give them a lab coat so they look like a real doctor. And if I have space, I like to make it look like they're actually selling something. So with this, I build a shelf outside and then use a select all trick with a concrete pillar to raise and lower the shelf, and then I place items on with OC Decorator. And here are some armor stands, so I put clothing on that so it looks like the clothing vendor is actually selling clothing. And here's the general store vendor, and with the clinic there's a gurney here and a wheelchair, and they're selling some medical supplies. So like I just showed you, there's the energy source here that's wired up to the top, and here I was able to fit a couple of residences with a little, I like to do this, which is, it's a doorway, but I put a wooden railing there so it looks like kind of an open window. And then it's pretty well lit out here and around. So I'll just do another kind of quick tour around. It's a lot of different materials being used. I like to do that so it looks a little junky. It's a lot of different warehouse facades. And the lighting makes it look pretty cool at night. I like to put lights on these power pylons. And then here again is the restaurant area. So hopefully this will give you a few ideas what to do with the space. If you like the video, then click like, and you can favorite the channel as well. Thank you.